6:45. All right, good morning. Welcome in, 6:45, March 5th. Welcome in. Good participation so far, 45 people. Thanks for coming in. Quick little COVID vaccine update. We're going to start really seeing some more eligibility for kind of our age group. On Monday, we're seeing the teachers can sign up, and then also 55 and older with high risk conditions. The website kind of goes into detail what those are, but it's a pretty long list of things, so you might actually be surprised how many people will actually be eligible for that March 8th registration. And then you look at the following weeks, it's going to be 16 and plus with high risk. So we're really going to start seeing things open up here in the month of March on the vaccine front. Regarding to the COVID, I don't know what happened to that. Sorry about that. The COVID activities, what we're seeing the last couple weeks, there's been kind of a yo-yo of positive cases in the area as kind of outbreaks happen at correction facilities, and it's a little bit in elementary school. So again, it's not, it comes in waves, so we just need to remember our best practices. We're doing an excellent job, and keep up the good communication. If it kind of enters your household, feel free to quickly contact health and safety. We're doing an excellent job with that. Just don't panic. Let's make the call. Let's figure it out so we can address it moving forward. Set up a good plan moving forward. So that's what we got on the COVID front. This week's code of conduct is to maintain respectful behavior when one is working, driving a company vehicle, or wearing the company logo. We are always representing this company. Another 7 days without a recordable injury. So excellent job. Keep up the good work. Remember to start the day with a good briefing, identifying our hazards, setting up our corrective actions to mitigate our most known potential hazards on the project, and then relying on that last line of defense is that wearing those personal protective equipment. So let's keep up the good work, keep up the communication. If there is an incident, please contact health and safety so we can help mitigate the response. This week's topic is on occupational noise exposure. It's one that is a standard in the OSHA standards, that we have a threshold that we need to maintain our operations before putting up a level of protection, such as, it could be personal protective equipment, or it could be other type of engineering controls. So these are some of the kind of the tasks that we do. They're very noisy environments, any sheet piling operation, driving any type of piles, blasting, packing concrete or ledge, a lot of our pneumatic air handling type of equipment, some of our electrical power tools as well could be in that threshold. A lot of the tooling that we use actually has this blue circle with a kind of an outlined face with earring protection, and that's saying that tool has been known for having that exceeding that threshold of the 85 decibels for an 8-hour day. So our safe work practices to mitigate noise exposure to ECI is to really kind of track the hierarchy of controls. If we can try to eliminate it in the pre-planning phase, excellent. If we can replace the hazard by a different type of tooling, that would be great. Other way of controlling is to isolate our people from the area. If they don't need to be in that area, we can kind of remove them from that area. We can look at our exposure time limits by changing the way we work. But again, that's not really the preferred method in a situation like this. And then again, that least effective, but for the most part, our noise exposure, it's really a good plan is just to wear personal protective equipment to protect our hearing in these extremely noisy conditions. So again, the standard is 90 decibels for an 8-hour day, 95 decibels for a 4-hour day, 10 decibels for a 2-hour day, and 105 decibels for a 1-hour day. We do have noise sampling instruments to conduct these surveys on our project. So if anyone has any needs or would like to do a survey, let us know and we can do a kind of a quick survey on some of our tooling or some of our operations to making sure that we're within the standard and not overexposing our workers to a workplace hazard. The options that we have available in Tool Crib, we have the earmuffs that go attached to your hard hat. We have the regular corded earplugs and just earplugs by themselves that can kind of fit in your pocket. So with that said, that's all I have for the safety topic today. Let's really focus on noise prevention for the next couple of weeks. Thank you for that, and I'll pass it over to Ken.
Hey, thanks, Matt. I'll just follow up that it's all about convenience of having these PPE devices available when you need them. And for some of the, like my own situation, I have a set of earmuffs and I hang them right on the wood splitter. They don't even go inside. They're always right there. So I can just put them on. So I don't have to go chasing anything. It's, you know, the convenience of having the hearing protection devices with the equipment that require it.
Yep.
So I'll show my screen and I'm going to bring up the browser. So for announcements this week, I assume you can all see my screen. Do I have a yes?
Yes, we can, sorry.
Okay, all right. So fleet insurance certificates are in. So we need to check with Scott Burns or either of the shops, and they'll have those certificates to put in your vehicle. So they're required in all registered vehicles. They're a generic corporate-wide certificate, so they're not specific to a vehicle, but they do have our insurance information. And the next item is to be aware that all of our mobile hotspots, that's a Verizon wireless device for connecting to your computer or any Wi-Fi device. They will all be shut down next week to reestablish the accounts. We got quite a few of them, and some of them aren't being used at all. So we're going to shut them all down as part of a new account we're going to have with Verizon Wireless, and we need to bring them up individually. So let Brendan know when your hotspot needs restarting. And I left his text, and for some reason it didn't fully type in everything. A text or call his number there. Either way, that's why it was supposed to be text or call. So for weather outlook here, you know, unfortunately, weather is still hanging on a few more days, but spring conditions look like next week. This was yesterday's report there. They were concerned about weather coming in today. I don't know if anyone had encountered weather on the way in from those areas that are listed as had warnings and everything. They were expecting 3 to 6 inches across parts of the Adirondacks and Greens, with 6 to 8 possible at elevations of 1,000 feet and strong winds. So, and there's a second wave apparently that could be coming today, but doesn't look bad here in Williston. I know that Monday they were talking back above freezing and maybe staying near freezing and above for the next several days after that. So that's happy news. And let's see, we got the COVID policies, which I think I mentioned before. I expect to see some real relaxation, especially once these vaccines have become more widely distributed in Vermont. And for projects this week, we're going to let Joey take over and talk about the Champlain dispensary.
Are you seeing my screen?
Yep.
Yes, we are.
This past winter, ECI was contracted with Champlain Valley Dispensary. They're a Vermont-based company. They do supply medical marijuana products, and they have a few different facilities around the state. But this one was in Milton. So we were hired to construct a mezzanine platform and staircase at the dispensary in Milton. The platform replaces mobile ladders and stair systems that were previously being used to access upper level Connex box manufacturing spaces. So within their manufacturing space, they had, you know, 4 Connex boxes, 2 over 2. And so the upper level Connex boxes, as you can imagine, were just, you know, roughly, you know, 8.5 feet up in the air, and there was no real good way to open, you know, open the big barn doors on those and then access the space. So they hired us to detail, you know, and procure the material and install this platform. And it was also a state fire marshal permit issue that they were trying to fight through as well. So it was a necessity for them to make these upgrades. But the system consisted of a steel framing with a plywood tongue and groove Advantex flooring finish over a corrugated metal deck subfloor. The structure is braced exclusively with rigid connections at the deck framing level, so there were no diagonal braces because the doors needed to swing open in all directions. So that was an important aspect of the design. And the structural steel, the rigid connections were made through 17 moment welds, which is quite a bit of welding for such a small platform. And the steel was supplied, detailed and supplied by LWI Metalworks in Morrisville, Vermont, who have been very, very good to us and a great working partner. So the facility is over off Catamount Drive in Milton, so coming off Route 7, should kind of just down the street from my Camp Precast area for those going there frequently. Here's an elevation view of the platform. So it's basically about a you know, almost 9 foot high platform with a staircase going up one side of it. And if you look straight into this picture, then you know, the Connex boxes are behind there. So here's a real life picture. So here's the Connex boxes, you know, 1, 2, 3, 4. So the inside these Connex boxes, you know, they use the word manufacturing spaces. They were actually growing spaces. So inside was actually a kind of like a lab setup with tables and very well manicured marijuana plants. So that was interesting. And so obviously we had to work with these doors open in some cases. So there's a lot of close integration with the facility on performing the work and keeping their operations going. So they're
Right.
the
hot work. Don't let any sparks get on the product, huh?
Exactly. That would they're kind of going back to some old movies now. But yeah, it was a lot of you know, for when all of the hot work, so all those moment welds require quite a duration of welding. So we had a smoke eater which doesn't evaporate, but it sucks in the smoke generated during the welding process and filters it out considerably, making it much easier to work inside without disrupting the entire building and recirculating fumes in the HVAC system. The metal decking fastened down to the structural steel with powder actuated nails. So there was we borrowed from LWI a large Hilti gun that was kind of like a big deck screwing machine that you typically see with guys who do a lot of steel decking or wood decking as well, except it just shot a powder actuated shot. So here's the platform mid-construction. Layout was really tight, so field measuring was really important here because these door swings had very, very little tolerance. So that was one critical thing, just to getting all of those dimensions correct. And then there's the finished product. The guys did a good job, and I assume hopefully they're going to paint it nice. We just left it as a prime finish. That was what they called for. So that's it for that project, and then here's your photo from the archive. I'll hand it back to Ken.
Okay. All right. Do I have control?
1 second, I just gotta find you. I was muting some people because we had some interference.
Okay.
There you go, Ken.
Okay, I'm gonna go back to show my screen. There we go. You see my screen? Am I good?
Yes, we can. Yes.
Okay. So I'm going back to the Google image. Whoops. The Google image we have of Catamount Drive and the work site. And I want to point out this oval feature on the ground here next to the interstate and between Route 7 and the interstate. It's halfway across Catamount Drive. That was the old Catamount Stadium Motor Speedway, and I made the archive picture of the week a photo that was taken from the Catamount Stadium website, and I gave the link here. This is the Catamount Stadium before Catamount Industrial Park became what it is today. And it went as far as like 1987 or so. I think this is a very late photo in its history. I know it's very late, but I think it was in the mid 60s or probably late 60s, I believe, that it was built and established. And it was kind of cool because it was a real, it was the thing to do on Saturday nights in Chittenden County for sure. And you know, there were races like I said, every Saturday, and it was everybody knew about it, and it was just the thing to do. And a lot of people who you know today, have heard of today, came out of that that group. You know, the Ken Squire and WDEV and all that group was organized there, and the stadium was built by the Coolies and DeBrule, I think it was. I don't remember if DeBrule was a builder, but DeBrule was and DeBrule was the Automaster guy now. Actually with the Next Generation now, but he was a racer. Tom Curley, who's affiliated with Thunder Road now, and Ken Squire's, of course, down there. But just all these characters, and a lot of it started right here at Catamount Stadium in the pretty much the early 70s, late 60s. So just wanted to pass on that kind of interesting part of history. And that's what I have. So everyone out there, have a good day. It's a little cold and windy, so protect yourself. And let's hope this COVID thing gets behind us pretty quickly here.
Yes, thank you, Ken. And Ben put a great point that I forgot to mention on the chat. There's noise meters are available also on phones, so your smartphones. It's not perfect, but do a quick check that way. So you can go to the Play Store. I think a lot of our tablets have them too. You can at least get a good idea of what your operation is by just running a quick little, firing up that app on your phone, just get an idea where you are on those. So thanks for sharing that, Ben. I appreciate it. Have a safe day, everybody.
Okay, see you.